chaos. So this week I'm going to be starting off a series of videos about the theme parks and water parks that I have been to, not including Wild Waves and Silverwood, because I've already kind of talked a little bit about those. I can always revisit those later. The first one I have been to that I'm going to talk about is Six Flags Discovery Kingdom in Vallejo, California. So first off, it's been a very long time since I have been there. It's been 10 years, so things have undoubtedly changed since then. But we did have a great time. It was my husband and I. Our little one didn't come with us, so we didn't do any of like the kids rides or the family rides, since we didn't really feel the need to. We also didn't do any of the games that they had either. We just didn't really feel like doing it since neither of us are really very good at them either. But we did do one thing with the animals, because they do have quite a few animals and experiences and stuff that you can do. All we did though was go see a dolphin show, and that was absolutely amazing. I personally love dolphins. They're one of my favorite animals. They're so smart and graceful, and it was a really great show. 10 out of 10, would so see it again. We mostly did the rides when we were there. We did also, well, obviously we ate. The food was, average, so it wasn't really anything spectacular. But for the most part, like I said, we just did the rides, and boy, we had fun with it. So the first ride that we did was actually Joker. It is the RMC hybrid that used to be Roar. And that was the first RMC hybrid I ever went on, and my husband ever went on. And I thought nothing of it. I'm like, I'll be fine. Then we started going up the lift hill, and then I was not so fine. By the time we got to the top, I looked over at my husband. I'm like, yeah, I can get down now, right? And he's like, well, no, there's only one way down. And down we went. And it was one of the best experiences on a ride ever. I loved it. The inversions were epic. It was so fast and so fun. We did it quite a few times that day, probably at least half a dozen. And we just wanted to keep marathoning it, but you really can't, especially with the inversions and the lines that were there. It was rough trying to marathon it, but we did a few times. And then we also got to do Medusa, which is their floorless steel coaster. That is actually the first floorless coaster I have ever been on either, and that was an experience. I had never done that before, and even as short as I am, I'm only about 5 foot. I thought my feet were gonna hit the track, so I kept having my feet up in front of me, and so I probably looked a little bit ridiculous. And I do remember looking at the photo after, and it was not a cute photo, and no, I did not buy it. And then we also did Kong, the SLC that they have. There's actually going to be a separate video on that particular ride, because it was one of the worst experiences on a ride I have ever had. And so there are words that need to be said about that I am not going to talk about at this moment. So like I said, look out for that next video on that ride specifically. We did not do the boomerang that was there. I'm really not sure why we didn't. I guess it was there and we just didn't want to. We also did not get to do Superman Ultimate Flight, only because it was actually down the entire day that we were there, and we were only there one day, so we didn't get to do it, unfortunately. And I mean, for the most part, we did all the major rides and coasters and everything. We did come back to Medusa and the Joker a number of times. And of course, some of the rides were not there when we were there. Like the Wonder Woman ride was not there. Granted, like I said, this was 10 years ago. But all in all, we had a great time there. We did not go to the water park that they have either, because it's not only a separate admission, but it's not even like right next to the park. So we didn't do that either. But like I said, for the most part, we had a great time. That was the first time either of us had ever been to Discovery Kingdom. And so we do eventually want to go back, especially me and my best friend. We really do. We want to be able to hopefully get on Superman, because it was, like I said, closed the entire time we were there. Go see more of the animals and kind of experience those, because we both do love animals. Although I could stand to not be near the creepy crawlies and most reptiles, because I don't like them. I will respect them, but I don't like them. And then, of course, go on all the major rides, including Batman, which is there now, which was not there when we were there. And hopefully I'll get to bring at least one of my kids, and hopefully he'll enjoy it if he does get to come. My other son is severely autistic, so I don't think Discovery Kingdom would be a good idea for him, at least not right away. Maybe we'll start out with like the fair or Wild Waves, which is my home park. Other than that, that's really all I have to say about Discovery Kingdom. It's a great park. As far as I know, things are still roughly the same except for some new rides. It sounds like the ride operations are not great, but I'm hopefully will get to go next year and find out for myself. So stay tuned for that, and also stay tuned for the next video, which is going to be a in-depth discussion about Kong and why that is literally one of the worst rides that Discovery Kingdom has, and one of the worst rides I have actually ever been on. So until next time. And I'm back. I did realize I forgot to mention one thing when I was talking about the rides. One ride that we did get to do that has been having a lot of downtime lately, that people haven't gotten to experience, is the Flash Vertical Velocity. That one was definitely an experience. I had never been on anything even remotely close to that before, and it was intense and crazy, and I loved it. However, for those of you who are about my height, I'm about 5 foot. I am tall enough to ride the ride. However, I was not quite tall enough to get into the seat on the train by myself. My husband had to actually help me get in and out, because though I was tall enough to ride the ride, I was not quite tall enough to get into the stupid seat. But, it is what it is. But that ride is absolutely amazing. I loved it, and I'm hoping to get to do it again the next time I get to go, which will hopefully be next year. So for the second time today, I hope you guys have a great night, and look out for my next video on Kong.